Standard function 3. This standard is named analyzing functions. So we're going to dig deeper into the ideas of functions. Your first learning target is I can interpret the slope and y-intercept of linear functions in relations to a situation table of values or graph. So the key there is we're going to interpret. So we're going to be able to tell you what does the slope mean and what does the y-intercept mean. So our first example here is you are at the elevation of 9,000 feet on top of a mountain. You descend at a rate of 500 feet per hour. The first question is, what is the slope of the given context? So remember, when we're finding slope, it's that change of the y over change of the x, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So when you look for the idea of slope, in this first question, again, you're going to look for the word per or each. Okay, in this case, I can read it right here, 500 feet per hour. So 500 over 1 is your slope. And that first question is just, what is it mathematically? So what are the numbers? Or you could write it, or you could have just said 500. Okay. What does the slope have in relation to the content? So this is where you go back into read the question, or not question, the statement. You are at an elevation of 9,000 feet on top of a mountain, and you are descending at a rate of 500 feet per minute. So what does this mean? It means you, first of all, we're going to write it mathematically again. And notice that I'm going to change something. Notice I'm going to make my slope negative because it says I'm descending. So that means the graph is going to go down, because if we think about it as a graph, you know, if you're on the top of the mountain here at 9,000 feet and you're descending at a rate of 500 feet per minute or per hour, 500 feet per minute would be fast. Per hour, it's going to go down. So our slope has to be negative. So what does that mean? You descend 500 feet for every hour. We'll just put 1 hour there, just to make sure. Okay. Next question is, what is the y-intercept? So I kind of gave that away already up here when I drew my graph. You're going to start here. So when I'm looking for y-intercept, I'm looking for start or at the beginning, or the start of this story says I'm at an elevation of 900,000 feet. So my y-intercept mathematically is 0, 9,000. And what does the y-intercept mean in relation to this content? You can say at the beginning or at the start. Just kind of depends on what kind of sentence you want to write here. Or sometimes I would say before you begin your descent, you are 9,000. 9,000 feet on top of the mountain. So the key here is the first question about the slope and y-intercept is just the mathematical side. And the second is, what does that slope mean in relation to the contents, and what does that y-intercept mean? And there's where I want to see a sentence. Next problem. It says those same 4 questions. So this time I don't have a content, so I'm going to kind of look at what we got going on. So it says the title of savings, our graph here. So we're saving money. Our independent variable is time in weeks. And then what depends is the amount of money in dollars. So if I was going to guess, we're talking about saving money, of course, because that's our title. Looks like we're saving every week. And then the amount that we're saving is going ahead and increasing as the weeks go on. So what is the slope? So you can go ahead and make a rise over run, or you can pick 2 points to, I'll just do rise over run. So I'm going to pick the beginning here, and we'll pick that point. So here's my rise. So I see it goes from 30 to 40. So that's a rise of 10. And then my run here. So I look down here. Each is worth 1. So that's 10 over 1, which I know is the same thing as 5 over 1, which you could just write as 5. So again, rise over run. You could have picked 2 points and found the slope from there. And then what does the slope mean? So this is where your sentence comes in here. So my rise was $10, and then I reduced it to 5. So it looks like we are saving, or whoever saves $5 every week. Again, when you're giving that meaning, I want it in a sentence. You can change you can make up a story if it's George or whoever you want. Saves, and I'm going to look for that word every or per or each, telling me that you have looked at the slope here. What is the y-intercept? So I kind of started there. Let me erase it so it's out of the way here. So it looks like our y-intercept right there is at 0.30. So remember, this is just the mathematical question. And then what does the y-intercept mean? So at the beginning or at the start, I just use the word start because I haven't used that one. At the start, and I could write in here week 0, because that would be talking about the 0 here. You had $30. Okay, and the last one here. This time we get to look at a table. So looking at the table, I see my independent is month. We could say time and month too, because that's what we're measuring. We're actually measuring in months. It looks like Amy's T-shirt company total profit. So it must be a company we're looking at, a T-shirt company, and this is their total profit. So what is the slope? Remember, that's the change of the y over change of the x. We'll go look at the change in the y's here. So negative 5,500 up to negative 4,000 would be a positive 1,500. Again, going from negative 4,000 up to negative 2,500. Again, we're increasing by $1,500. So from 2,500 up to 500, that is a change of 3,000. And then 500 up to 3,500, that is a change of 3,000. Over here, time, 0 to 3 is 3, 3 to 6 is 3, 6 to 12 is 6, 12 to 18 is 6. So remember, when you're doing slope, you have to go the same ratio. So you could say 1,500 over 3, because that's the ratio. These match up and these match up. Or you could have said 3,000 over 6, because those two match up. So mathematically, how you do it, it would reduce down into 500 over 1, or just 500. So what does the slope mean in relation to the content? So again, 500 is talking about this money, and then the 1 is talking about time and month. So it looks like we could write something like Amy's T-shirt company has a total profit of $500 each month. Okay, y-intercept, that one's right there in front of us, so we can kind of see that. Okay, so remember, the y-intercept is where x is 0. So x is 0 here at 0 months, and it says it's negative 5,500. Our sentence, again, you start at the start, at the beginning. So at the start, which is 0 months, just make sure everybody understands that. Amy's t-shirt company was at a profit of negative $5,500, which, knowing business, being in the negative, it's not really a profit. So that's probably not a good thing. So go ahead and try your individual practice problems. Again, remember that the first question, what is the slope, is just the math. And then the sentence is what does the slope mean? So you want to talk about the content, and I should see the words each or per or every. And then what is the y-intercept? So that's 0, whatever the y-intercept is. And then that sentence on the last is at the beginning or at the start or however you say it from there.